I have in my hand a little kit that's available with a small parcel delivery directly from Free TV called an IR over HDMI Injector kit. Okay, so basically the idea of this is to allow us to use the HDMI cable that's running a signal from a set-top box over to a television to also be able to run control signals back from the remote location, i.e. the television, back to the box so you can actually come along and change channels. Okay, so it comes in this little box here, so it's very neat. So there's basically 4 component parts to it. There's 2 IR sensors. There's an IR sensor that's on the far end next to the television that picks up the signal from the remote control. Okay? It sends it into this HDMI cable. It runs through the HDMI cable out to this end here. And what happens then is this signal then is brought around to the front of the box and it sends the signal from the remote control through the cable all around and bang through the front of the box. So let's just come along and set this up and have it working here. So what I have here is I have, what do you call it, the channels over here broadcasting away, HDMI lead, that's fine. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab 2 things. There's a switch on this, and the switch says IR or CEC. No idea what CEC means, but IR is the setting that you want to have this on. And there's a little IR input on the side of this as well, okay? So what I'm going to do is I am just going to come along, and in the simplest format, I'm just going to come along and I'm going to do this in stages. So I'm just going to say, if we just push this directly through and have it off the HDMI lead, it'll come back working in a second. And again, if I put in the little injector on the far end, connect to the television, push it straight in. Now, it's just working, but we still have no IR control. We can't control from the far end, okay? Now if I come along and I get this IR sensor here, we could push it directly into the little sensor, into the little hole that's on the side of the injector here. You probably can't really see it too well here, but there's just a little 3.5 millimeter input here. And what we do is we bring this around and we want to stick it here so it's in front of the box. So if there's ever a signal being broadcast back through the thing, a control signal from the remote control, it'll be aimed at the box because there'll be a little IR sensor on the front of the box here for picking up such signal. And I'm going to do the same here in the back of the television. I'll actually disconnect this as I do it, show you even clearer here what we're doing. And I'm going to come along and insert this directly back in, okay? So what type of a distance could we do this on? We could do this on, without too much difficulty, over a HDMI cable that's up to 20 meters away. So the 2 typical applications where you'd be using this is, the first one is where you actually have the set-top box and the television in 2 different rooms. You're just running it all the way down. So you have it here, and what you're saying is, I have a 20 meter HDMI cable possibly, and on the far end I want to grab my remote control, have this little sensor with this little gluey pad stuck on top of the television, aim it at the television, it sends the signal down here through the HDMI cable over in here and it changes channel for me. Now the other alternative where you might be using it quite regularly would be is you have a cabinet, you've stuck this in here, and then what you want to do is you want to have this sitting in the cabinet, this sitting out at the television. You're only running a cable directly over, just this one here, and you just add this on. So it's really, really easy to retrofit, because imagine the situation where you have this set up this way, and every time you need to change channels on your box, you have your television straight in front of you, and you have the cabinet door to the left hand side and it's open, so you're aiming here. People are automatically drawn to aiming towards the television. That's often where they go wrong. So what I'm going to do at this point here is I'm just going to grab this sensor here, little IR sensor on this, saying it's working, okay? And there's no little IR sensor on this one as it happens. So if I just come along, let's go over here, and if this works, and hopefully it will, I can just come along here and press OK, and it brings the menu up. Okay, so what's happening here is the signal's going through here, through the HDMI cable, out the far end and doing it. Now I think that's a brilliant product. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Now we won't sell a gazillions of these. We'd sell a hell of a lot more if people knew about it. And that's always the problem with sort of niche but super products. People just don't hear about them, they don't realise it. Like for me at home, I have exactly this problem. I have one of my set-top boxes. I just don't want to have it sitting up on the counter. I put it in a low thing and have to open the cabinet every night. One way, like this, bang. Like how much work is in it? Almost none. You just push this in. You don't need any tools, you don't need anything. Just push the HDMI lead in, put this little sensor up on top, and that's it. So that's it anyway, an overview of the IR over HDMI injection kit, available with low cost small parcel shipping directly from freetv.ie.